following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Hello and welcome to the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce cable TV show. My name is Joe Ficarro. I am a past president of the Chamber of Commerce and happy to continue to be the host of the show. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas season and I may as well wish you a Happy New Year at this point. But without me rambling on, maybe I should get on. For those of you who are maybe tuning in for the first time, as you know, this is on Comcast and AT&T, the community channels. So there's a lot of chamber members are getting some great exposure. And if you want to get in touch with any of our chamber members, our guests tonight, as well as others, you can contact the chamber at 708-532-5700. or go to our website at tinleychamber.org. Our first guest, and we've had Bob here in the past, but the principal of Andrew High School, Bob Nolting. Bob, welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
You're quite welcome. It's always nice to have you on our cable show, and I know there's a lot of new things, some of the old things, you know, the standards at the high school, but maybe tonight you could tell us about some of the new things. And but before we do that, why don't you tell us, for those who haven't seen or heard you before, what inspired you to go into the teaching profession, or in this case, being a principal?
Sure. Well, I started as a social studies teacher, and was always passionate about education, working with kids. Had a great opportunity. I came from Wisconsin and got a great opportunity in District 230 starting at Andrew High School, and really immediately fell in love with the community, with the school district, with the families, staff, and I spent a little bit of time at a different school in the district, and once the opportunity to return to Andrew High School as its principal became available, it really was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So I've been there now for 6 years, and you know, every morning I love the fact that I get to go where I get to go and do what I get to do.
I believe that the schools that we have in Tinley Park are all great. So I can imagine that you are happy to get up in the morning and get to work and interact with staff as well as students.
Absolutely.
6 years.
Yes.
So one more year, you'll be a veteran, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know if 7 years, it's like the 7-year.
I don't know, the 7-year itch maybe, but yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. But
no, the 7-year hump.
Hump. Oh, okay.
In business, usually that's what it is. But all right, so I don't know if there's more that you want to tell us about yourself, maybe some of your past experiences, but unless you want to reserve most of your segment to talking about Andrew High School.
Yeah, I'd love to stick to the school. That's what I'm more interested in.
All right, well then why don't we do that? Tell us about Andrew High School.
Well, I think, you know, Andrew High School obviously pulls into a lot of Tinley Park and Orland Hills, and we have 2,000 students. And the thing I think we embrace the most about our school and our community is I think that the one thing is it's very much a community-based school. We reach out into the community. I think that the community looks at us as not only an opportunity for their kids, but an opportunity for the community as well, from a facility standpoint, from a resource standpoint. But we embrace that role. I think being an active member of the community is important for our students. I think to get them out there, from whether it's service learning, whether it's contributing to some of the community events, whether it's just representing their community, whether they're traveling downstate to compete in athletic or co-curriculars. We really embrace that opportunity. I think we appreciate the fact that we're a comprehensive school. That's becoming a little bit more difficult for public schools these days, and I think our district and our school has really embraced the fact that we want to help all 2,000 students reach their individual goals, and that encompasses a lot of variety and a lot of opportunity that we continue to challenge ourselves with. And the last one is challenge. One of the things that I think has really been gaining momentum over the last couple of years in particular has been we've been really embracing the challenge of students, whether it's academically, in the fine arts, in athletics. We've been real proud of what we've been able to accomplish, in particular over the past 3 years, not to negate what we've done in our 36-year history.
36 years. I was going to ask you
Yeah.
how long Andrew High School has been around.
Yeah, I believe this is our 36th year with our doors open. So from a school standpoint, I know that's considered somewhat young, but we kind of feel like we have that rich tradition still. As
Pretty
schools
well
should.
established. Now, you used the word comprehensive and then covered a set of variety, and I can kind of understand that, but
Sure.
maybe you could elaborate just a little bit, briefly,
Sure.
for those people who may not understand that nature.
Right. Well, I think the most important thing is when we look at the makeup of our community, the makeup of our student body, we are very college-focused community. So we know that one of our number one priorities is preparing kids for post-secondary, four-year and two-year universities. At the same time, we understand that the dynamic of our community also demands that kids get a variety of experiences. So we want to maintain elective areas, elective programming. The arts, fine arts is very important at Andrew High School. We have a very rich tradition in the theater and in the music programs. Art program has been very successful. And we've also had a lot of success in our applied technologies and family and consumer sciences, as well as our business. And in terms of some of our more impressive accomplishments over the last 5-6 years, we've had several kids who are state champions in events that are more of the business and applied technologies, graphic arts. So we want to maintain that for all of our students, because we know that 4 years of high school encompasses a lot for kids, and it allows them to get the exposure to help them make good decisions when they graduate from high school.
Yeah, it's a major growing period of time, socialization and what have you. I can understand that, so I can appreciate the environment that you create for them. So, having said that, the people that are guiding them and creating an interest in various subjects and what have you, the teachers, how many teachers and as well as other staff do you have?
Sure, we have about 230 adults in the building.
Okay.
About 155 are our teaching staff. We're very proud of our teaching staff. It's kind of a younger staff now. We've transitioned to a lot of staff that are 20 and 30 somethings, and that's led to some exciting changes in the building, as well as I think some stability with our staff that have been around for a while. So it's a good balance. We have about 15 administrators. We have about 75 support staff, and it's a great environment for working together. I think we role model well to the kids and the parents in their community that we are supportive of each other. We challenge each other, which is important to do as well. But I think that's great to role model, because our kids see that and they see, pushing each other in a positive way is a good thing to do. And, when they see our staff and our administrators and our teachers doing that with each other, they look at that as a challenge for themselves.
You've covered a lot, and I wish we had a lot more time, but it looks like we have about 30 seconds left.
Wow.
So if there's a parting message you would like to extend to our viewers, please do so.
Absolutely. I think, like I said before, being the kind of school that we're at, we're very proud of a lot of the accomplishments we've made with academics. We are now a nationally recognized school. with a few publications. We rank in the top 10% in a lot of areas, and I think that environment, as well as keeping a community connection and working on, I guess, leadership skills and those things, are what we're most proud of. And being part of the Tinley community has really been a blessing for us.
Bob, thank you very much for being here, and I hope 2015 is great for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, our next guest, a chamber member, is Melissa Jasieniecki, who is the principal of Kennedy School at St. Coletta's of Illinois. Welcome, Melissa. It's always a pleasure having you on our show.
Thank you.
And I know it's such a great program. I mean, the programs that you've got are so beneficial. And for the benefit of those who may not have heard you in the past or may have heard of the name but aren't familiar with what is offered, I'm sure there are those out there that would benefit from it. So just so they get to know you a little bit, why don't you tell us, how did you happen to go into this profession?
Well, I've always wanted to be in the field of education, and in high school I had the opportunity to work in an early childhood program for students with special needs during the summer, and I fell in love with it. And from that point on, I have been involved in the field of special education, attended Purdue University in Indiana, and actually have a dual degree in elementary and special education. Taught for a few years and made my way into the administrative role, or some may say the dark side. But I love it. It's a great opportunity. I love working with students with special needs. It's wonderful to get up in the morning and know that you're going to a place where you're going to make a difference and you're going to see great things happening.
Now, I know, we hear special needs very often, but for the benefit of those who it may not be clear in their mind, why don't you give us just a brief definition of how that applies to an individual?
Well, the students that we have at the Kennedy School display various disabilities. So we have students that may have learning disabilities, emotional disabilities where they have trouble dealing with their feelings, behavioral disabilities where they may display some verbal or physical aggression. We have students with autism. So we range in the variety of students that we provide services to.
Okay. All right, so I think the important thing is describing the various programs that you've got, so people who are out there may know they know somebody who that it would apply to. So if you would tell us, give us the broad stroke of Kennedy School and St. Coletta's of Illinois.
Well, I think many people probably don't realize that students with special needs are still held to the same standards and expectations as students without special needs.
Okay.
So our students still follow a curriculum that is aligned to our state standards. They still take state assessments, and they are provided with those expectations and opportunities to be successful. So a lot of things that we work on with our students may focus more on what they're going to do as they leave us at 18 or the age of 22. So really focusing on those life skills, vocational skills, as well as the academic challenges.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
Yeah, and you mentioned, may have trouble dealing with their emotions. That would apply to a lot of people. But in this case, I can understand assisting them so they can adjust to, let's say, working or dealing with people in the outside world other than family. How long has St. Coletta's been at the location that you're at now?
We have been in Tinley Park since 2001. Previous to that, we were in Palos, and we've been around since 1949. So
wow.
We have been...
It's a senior citizen.
Yes, it is. And we're sponsored by the St. Francis of Assisi.
Okay.
So we have the sisters that come and they visit our school as well and visit the students to see how they're doing. So it's a great community organization, a great family organization as well.
And the sisters, they're not wearing habits and what have you like they did?
No habits,
all right,
no
okay.
habits, but they will come around on Ash Wednesday and give us our crosses.
All right. I had a question in my mind and it just like disappeared, but if you would then, how many people do you, you have teachers and other staff. How many teachers do you actually have at Kennedy School?
Currently, we have 5 classroom teachers.
Okay.
Along with that, we have a speech-language pathologist who works with the students with communication. We have an occupational therapist who works on fine and gross motor skills as well as those vocational tasks. We have a social worker who works with the students and the families. We are very proud to have a board-certified behavior analyst to help with those students that are really struggling with their emotions and with their behaviors.
All right. Now, in order for students with various and special needs to assimilate into society, you've got different programs where they're actually performing certain functions. Can you maybe explain some of those?
One thing that we've set up in the school is some vocational centers for the students to rotate in to work on those skills. We've also just started working with some of our students in the community. So some of the business are actually having our students come in and do various tasks. So that's one thing that we're really looking for is how can we reach out to the community so that we can get these students to really have those skills when they leave us. We actually just kicked off our transition program as of December 1st. So we are excited. It's called our JET program for Jobs, Education, and Training. So that's something that we're looking within the community to find places that would be willing to have our students come, with assistance of course, and learn those job skills.
Well, in 2014, I know you had some of your students doing some things for the Chamber of Commerce, and we look forward to having that continue. Are there some new programs that you're establishing in 2015?
We are continuing to work with the transition program. We also are looking to develop an early childhood program, which would provide services to students ages 3 to 5. And along with that, we would provide different family and parental support groups.
Now, since it's the transition program you're talking about, and you've been working that since December, and I'm sure you want that to expand and get out there. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on that. What are some of the different types of jobs or activities that some of the students would get involved with?
Our students could go out into various businesses and they could do basic cleaning, they can do filing, shredding, any type of those tasks. We also have students that are working at a local bowling alley and they are cleaning some of the equipment and cleaning up after the morning leagues. We have one group that is going to be starting at another resale shop, and so they will be doing some sorting. So anything that really allows them to use those skills that they need within the community is going to be beneficial for them.
Oh yeah. Now, so we don't forget and then run out of time, please give us the contact information, where you're located, phone number, web page, what have you.
We are located at 18350 Crossing Drive right here in Tinley Park off 183rd Street, and our website is www.stcil.org. Our direct...
Say that again,
stcil.org.
Okay.
And our phone number is 708-342-5278.
5278. Well, I know we've mentioned that you've done some work for the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm sure other businesses as well. And we have a little bit less than a minute right now. So if there is something you would like to say to our viewers, maybe to inspire them and motivate them to actually get in touch with you or somebody else at St. Coletta's.
Well, if you're interested in providing opportunities for our students to learn and grow, please contact me. We welcome visitors to come see the program. And I know you have come to see our program. Come and see what we're doing. I think a lot of times people may focus on students with special needs and focus on their disabilities rather than our abilities, and we really want to highlight the great things that our students do. We laugh and have a great time every day with the students and really enjoy working with them. So anybody that would like to come visit, we have an open door and would love to have any visitors.
Melissa, thank you for being a guest on our show. We look forward to that. So, you heard it. Please call 708-342-5278 if you need any further information. We'd like to welcome our next guest for our cable show, none other than Jerry Davis, who is who is with Novacare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. Jerry is the center manager, but he is a board-certified orthopedic clinical specialist. That's a mouthful. Say that 10 times, but we won't, so that'll take up too much time. Jerry, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I had visited the center, and I saw some of the other staff, what have you. So we're glad that you're with us now. But Jerry, let's talk about you and Novacare then. And as I usually do, I ask our guests, what was their motivation? What inspired them to go into, in your case, the field of physical therapy?
It all started when I was in college, majoring in biology, and didn't know how to specialize in biology. And my mother suggested that I look into physical therapy because she had some. And then as I took an internship in physical therapy, I soon found out that the injuries that I had, the senior year hardship that I had in college, it was something that I wanted to help others with to lessen their injury duration and maybe get into the preventing so it won't happen to them. After I finally got into PT school, it was all coming to fruition that I could do what I was dreaming of doing, something I had passion for.
All right, so that's a little bit of your background. Is there more about your background that you want to share with our viewers?
Yes. So I went to North Central College in Naperville. My primary focus in going to college, Joe, my focus was on running, cross country, and track.
Okay.
So my biology degree got me through college, and I realized I needed to specialize. So I went on to the University of Illinois for physical therapy, and I started to realize that the hardship that I had my senior year for what I went to school for, I was, I was in a situation where I needed my work wasn't done, and I wanted to finish getting people better in a certain way, and physical therapy was perfect because I could give back to the community, and I really have a good time doing it, trying to prevent them from having certain injuries.
And I'm sure, well, go ahead.
And then after the University of Illinois, a few years later, I was able to become a specialist in orthopedic. It's a very difficult exam, and so I'm board certified in orthopedics and physical therapy, which is only 2 or 3% of all physical therapists in the United States are orthopedic specialists.
Okay. Now, for the viewer who doesn't understand that, you say orthopedic specialist. What are the various facets of orthopedics then?
Orthopedics is a wide array of bone and joint injuries, sprains and strains, surgeries, protecting the tendons and the joints. In my office, we'll deal with fractures, a lot of joint replacements in my office, all different kinds, and we deal with a lot of different injuries. It could be hand injuries, workers' comp injuries, sprains and strains. We see a large Medicare population, but it's basically head to toe, injury from neck to toe.
Okay. So what types of patients do you see? Now, you're located in Tinley Park, so at your physical therapy location, what are the typical patients?
Kind of like what I was mentioning, the typical patients would be sprains, strains, fractures, joint replacements, surgeries, weekend athletes. We see a good amount of athletes in my office, and people are coming in all the time for free injury screens, and we have to direct them in the right direction to get a good physician.
All right. Well, to get a good physician?
That will be the kind of physician they're looking for for their injury.
All right.
Sports medicine, most likely.
Okay. And I'm sure it's just about any sports. Do you find any particular sport where there are more injuries than others?
Probably it's seasonal. It depends. The most injury, I think, occur in football, but we don't necessarily see a lot of those football players, but we do sponsor large running organizations. We see an awful lot of runners by some of our sponsorships, but I think we treat athletes from all different injuries: volleyball, basketball, occasional football, a lot of runners, tennis, swimmers. The injuries for all over the place.
I can imagine. So are there particular specialties that are offered at your office that may make you different than another?
Yeah, Joe, I would think I have a few specialties in my office that a lot of physical therapy clinics don't offer. One is treating jaw pain, which is the temporal mandibular joint, or TMJ, temporal mandibular dysfunction. It's called TMD, but it's your TMJ joint, and that's for jaw pain. Another specialty that I offer is vestibular rehabilitation, which pertains to patients who are dizzy or they have balance issues. Another specialty that my office has, I use these types of tools right here. These are called hawk grips, and these are specialized stainless steel tools that can get into soft tissue for deep tissue mobilization that speeds recovery, because our connective tissue in our muscles limits so many different things that we can't do. So these things here can relieve a lot of pain when they're appropriately used.
Okay. I mean, when you first introduced them, it was like, I've never seen anything like that, and I imagine they're used in your actual physical contact with your patients.
Yes, they're kind of contoured. There's more to this pack, this group. There's about 3 more, but they're contoured for certain body parts.
Okay.
So it took a long time to be trained in these, and I use them daily, and patients know they're coming when we use them, and they just think they're wonderful.
That's great. That's great.
So if I had to take a knot out of your low back or on the side of your neck very carefully, it's amazing.
All right. I have to believe what you're saying, because you're the professional. But when we look at them, it's like those are strange looking. But I can understand when you say that they fit certain parts of the body.
They could almost, like this one here, would be contoured for the thumb.
All right.
Or a tendon here, tendonitis of the finger.
Interesting. Well, how does someone become your patient?
We typically get patients from physicians. I have an overwhelming amount of patients that are referred to me from friends, family, and former patients who I've treated. We get patients, like I said, from doctors. I have a good working relationship with a lot of different physicians. And we're basically making people happy, they're comfortable, and they send friends and family to us.
That's great. Referrals are worth their weight in gold, I'm sure. But Jerry, what was the highlight for Novacare rehabilitation in 2014?
The highlight for Novacare in 2014 was Novacare was recognized as one of the second year in a row now for the top 100 companies in Chicagoland. It was a survey done by the Chicago Tribune, and we were recognized by employees questionnaires that were given to them, surveys based on leadership, communication, employee satisfaction of the job. And Novacare, this is their second time in the top 100.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we're into a new year. What would you like to say to our viewers as a parting message or an invitational message? I
would say something that we really pride ourselves in is we make our patients feel very comfortable from the initial phone call conversation to when they're a patient, during their treatment, even after care. We have a strong emphasis and balance on manual therapy using our hands. Joint mobilization, manipulation, an assistive strengthening program that helps people get on a routine for long-term staying in a pain-free lifestyle. Jerry, we've run out of time, but you've covered a lot. Thank you for being a guest on our show. Thank you, Joe, for having me. And Happy New Year to everybody.